The jungle was alive with sound. Chirps echoed through the trees. Mist hung low between glowing leaves. The scout ship had crashed deeper into the alien planet than planned. The human stepped out of the smoking wreckage. His suit was damaged, but functional. He looked around carefully, scanning for movement. Nothing came close. Not yet. Behind a thick wall of trees, eyes watched him. She crouched quietly, her white hair hanging over her shoulder. Orange patterns pulsed on her skin like gentle waves. She was a native, a warrior of this world, trained to protect the sacred zones from outsiders. Her orders were clear: observe, but do not engage unless threatened. This human didn't look like a threat. He moved slowly. He spoke softly to his AI device. His hands touched nothing carelessly. Still, she didn't trust him. He was alone, no backup. No weapons drawn. Only a scanner and a small satchel strapped to his chest. He wandered deeper into the forest, following a signal beacon. Hours passed. She kept her distance, always above him, watching. He didn't know he was being followed. He spoke out loud, mostly to himself. Sometimes to the forest. Looking for the escape pod, he said. Crew might still be alive. Or the beacon's lying. Wouldn't be the first time. She tilted her head. His voice wasn't angry, it was tired. Like someone who had seen too much and still kept going. The forest changed as he entered the lower valley. Here, the trees were thicker. The light was dim, the sounds were quieter. That's when she heard it too, a growl, low, close, not a warning. A threat. The human stopped. He turned slowly. From behind a rock, two glowing yellow eyes appeared. Then came the massive blue form of a predator, striped, muscular. Its fangs shimmered in the light. He didn't run. He didn't scream. He knelt. Slowly, palms open, eyes lowered. Easy, big one, he whispered. I'm not here to hurt anything. She tensed. This creature was known to strike fast. It was the jungle's apex. Even her kind avoided its territory. Then something unbelievable happened. The predator didn't lunge. It sniffed. It growled again, but softer. From behind it, two small cubs appeared. Their eyes wide and curious. The human looked at them. Then he smiled gently. You've got kids, you're just being careful. I get it. One of the cubs padded forward. The human didn't move. The cub touched his hand with its nose, then rubbed against his arm. The mother predator watched. Her ears twitched. She took a step forward. The human stayed perfectly still. She had never seen this before. No off-worlder had ever touched the young of a predator and lived, let alone earned trust. Her heart pounded. Her hand gripped the edge of her spear, but she didn't throw it. She just stared. The human scratched the cub behind its ear. The creature made a sound like a purr. The second cub joined in, crawling into his lap. The mother growled once more, then turned and vanished into the trees. She left her cubs with the human, trusting him. That was the moment her judgment changed. She stepped out from the shadows. Asterisk. The human turned slowly as he heard the soft crunch of leaves. His hand instinctively moved toward his belt, but stopped when he saw her. She stepped out from behind the thick vines. Her silver hair shimmered in the light. Her orange skin glowed with tribal markings. She held no weapon in her hand. He raised both palms slowly. I'm not your enemy, he said. I didn't come to fight. She studied him closely. His voice was calm. His movements were slow. He was still sitting with the cubs nestled near him. The predator cubs weren't afraid. They played near the human's knee. One of them chewed on a strap hanging from his gear. The other climbed onto his shoulder and licked his ear. She couldn't understand it. These beasts never trusted outsiders. Not even her own tribe approached them without caution. You touched her young, she said sharply. And she didn't kill you. I didn't try to hurt them, he replied. I just stayed still. They came to me. She narrowed her eyes. And you didn't run? I thought about it, he said with a weak smile. But that never helps with wild things. You let them decide. She stepped closer. Her boots made no sound on the moss-covered ground. The cubs didn't flinch. Neither did he. You speak like someone who knows this world, she said. I know fear, he answered. And how to earn trust. Her gaze lingered on him. There was no armor on his arms. No weapon ready in his hands. Just a scanner and a damaged satchel. She circled around him, always at a careful distance. Why did you come here? My crew crashed, he said. I'm trying to reach the escape pod. It has a transmitter. And you came through Predator territory? I didn't know it was marked, he said. But I couldn't turn back. She paused. Your kind always walks with fire, guns, power, but you sit calmly with the jungle's deadliest hunter. Why? I was tired of being afraid, he said. And I figured if I showed respect, maybe I'd survive. The cubs curled up beside him. He patted one gently behind its ear. It purred like a deep engine. She took one final step closer. Now only a few feet separated them. She could smell the dust on his clothes. The metallic scent of his gear. You are strange, she said. But not stupid, he chuckled quietly. I'll take that as a compliment. She turned and looked into the trees. The escape pod is 2 valleys away. I know the path. If you want to reach it, follow me. He stood up slowly, careful not to startle the cubs. They scattered back into the ferns, playful and unharmed. He picked up his gear and looked at her. Are you sure? I wouldn't offer twice, she said without turning. He followed her through the thick forest. Her steps were swift but graceful. She moved like she was part of the ground itself. Branches moved out of her way. Animals made space. The jungle seemed to accept her presence like breath accepts air. He watched every move she made. Not just because he had to, but because he was curious. They stopped near a stream. She knelt to drink. He did the same after scanning the water for toxins. It was safe. She glanced at him. Always scanning, always checking. Afraid of poison? Afraid of failing the ones waiting for me, he replied. She didn't answer. But for the first time, she offered him her water pouch. He took it with both hands, drank carefully, then handed it back. That moment felt like more than kindness. It felt like understanding. They continued through the trees, no words. Just steps. In rhythm, 2 strangers. One purpose. And for the first time, she didn't feel alone with a human beside her. The trail grew narrower as they entered a deep ravine. The ground was slick from recent rain. Vines hung low and water dripped from the leaves. She moved ahead, cutting through brush with a curved blade. Her steps left no prints. He followed, careful not to slow her down. Birds screeched overhead. Somewhere in the distance, something large moved through the undergrowth. The human paused, his hand hovering near his belt. She glanced back. Don't grab your weapon. It senses fear. I wasn't going to fire, he replied. Just felt better knowing it was there. You won't need it, she said. Not if you keep walking. They pressed forward. The jungle opened into a clearing surrounded by trees taller than ships. Flowers the size of helmets bloomed in every corner. In the middle, a pool of blue water glowed faintly. She stopped and raised her hand. This is a sacred place. No voices, no weapons. He nodded and removed the scanner from his belt. He placed it gently on the ground and stepped forward with empty hands. The air was still. The only sound came from the rippling water. He stepped beside her and whispered, "Why did you bring me here?" "Because this is the path that tests intent," she said. "If the forest accepts you here, it accepts you everywhere." He looked around, unsure. "How does it test me?" "Just wait," she replied. Minutes passed. Then the water shifted. Something moved beneath its surface. A shape swam toward the edge, silent and slow. A long-necked creature lifted its head. Its eyes locked on the human. It blinked twice, then submerged again. "You passed," she said. "That was it?" he asked. "No chase? No fight?" "The jungle already saw who you are," she said. "It remembers who you were with. The cubs told your story better than words ever could." He exhaled. "So now we keep going?" She nodded. "The escape pod is just beyond the next ridge. But the final test is not from the jungle. It's from me." He looked at her, puzzled. "From you?" "Yes," she said. "Because I still don't know if you came here only for survival, or for something else. I came here because my team matters to me," he said. "But I stayed with you because you didn't treat me like a threat." She stared at him for a long moment, then turned and walked. He followed without asking further. He understood some questions were meant to be answered through actions, not words. As they climbed, the trees thinned and the wind grew stronger. The sun broke through the canopy, shining golden light on the hilltop. There it was. The escape pod lay half buried in vines and moss. Its door was slightly open. Sparks flickered from its side panel. He ran forward and tapped the interface. Power's low. Still enough for one signal. She stood at a distance, arms crossed. "Will you call them now?" "I have to," he said. "They'll want to know I'm alive." He paused and looked at her. "But I won't leave without you." She blinked. "You'd stay?" "If you asked," he replied. She stepped closer slowly. "No human has ever said that to me. Not without expecting something in return. I'm not like other humans," he said. A silent pause followed. Then she placed her hand gently on his chest. "Then stay for now," she said. "Until the sky changes." He smiled and activated the beacon. A soft light blinked above the pod. They sat near the edge of the ridge. The wind passed through the trees like music, and for the first time, she rested beside someone without needing to guard her heart. The signal blinked steadily. It pulsed red above the pod, rising into the clear sky. Somewhere out in orbit, someone would receive it. The human leaned against the metal hull. He watched the light rise and fall like a slow heartbeat. It was a signal of survival, of hope. The alien girl sat beside him with her legs crossed. Her eyes were on the trees, not the sky. Her fingers moved through the grass, feeling each blade. "You still don't trust them, do you?" he asked. "I trust the forest more than the ones who orbit above it," she said. He nodded. "I understand. Not all ships bring peace." Silence settled between them. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was the kind of quiet that comes when two people no longer need to speak every thought. She stood and walked toward the pool nearby. The same glowing water they had passed earlier. She dipped her hand in and brought it to her face. "I used to dream of leaving this place," she said, "of touching the stars. But now they feel farther than ever. You don't have to stay behind," he said. "You could come with me. If the rescue crew agrees, I'll speak for you." She turned slowly. "And if they don't?" "Then I'll stay," he answered. She didn't reply, but her eyes softened. Later that evening, they built a fire. He boiled rations while she gathered edible roots. She moved with ease, never breaking a branch or stepping on dry leaves. "You belong to this world," he said. "Like you were born from the trees." She smiled faintly. "And you look like you crashed through them," he laughed. "That's probably true." They shared a simple meal. She told him stories of her people, of the creatures that flew through the mist, of songs sung to the mountains. He listened with quiet respect. He never interrupted. He never doubted a single word. Afterward, they sat close. The stars were visible through the canopy. The fire crackled low beside them. "I was raised to fear your kind," she said. "You came from the sky with fire. You burned villages, took resources, left nothing but questions. I believe that. He said, humans don't always come in peace. But I'm not like them. Not all of us are the same. She turned to look at him. Why do you keep proving that? Because I want you to believe it, he said. A rustling sound came from the trees. Her head snapped toward the noise. He stood and reached slowly. For the signal flare on his belt, from the shadows the blue predator emerged, its golden eyes glowing. The cubs followed close behind. The human held still. They found us again. They remember you, she said. They feel safe near you. One of the cubs ran forward and jumped against his leg. He knelt and patted its back. The larger predator growled softly, but did not approach. She's watching, the girl said. Still deciding what you mean. To her, she already knows, he replied. She just doesn't know how to show it. The alien girl looked at him. You're not talking about the beast anymore. He said nothing. She stepped closer. I never thought I'd meet someone who looked at me without fear, without judgment, and I never thought I'd be welcomed by the wild, he said. Cubs curled near the fire. The mother predator vanished into the trees again, leaving her young behind. She trusts you, the girl said. And now? He asked. Her hand touched his. And now so do I. The sound of engines came before the ship appeared. A deep hum rolled across the trees as the rescue craft descended through the clearing sky. The human stood and shielded his eyes from the light. The wind from the thrusters blew through the leaves and scattered the fire's ashes. Beside him, the alien girl didn't move. Her face was calm, but her hands were tight around the strap of her spear. The ship landed gently. Its doors opened with a hiss. 2 crew members stepped out in white rescue armor. They scanned the area quickly before approaching. One of them called out, Lieutenant Hartley, you're alive. I am, the human replied. So is she. She helped me survive. The crew looked at the girl. One of them raised a scanner. She didn't flinch, but her eyes narrowed. She's not on any Allied list, the second officer said. We need command approval to bring her aboard. She's coming with me, Hartley said firmly. Without her, I wouldn't be standing here. The officers hesitated. One tapped his com. Requesting transport status update. We've got 1 survivor and 1 non-classified native. Orders? A long silence followed. Then the voice from the com replied. If the lieutenant vouches for her, authorize temporary access. Hartley turned to the girl. You ready to leave this place? She looked back toward the forest. The cubs were still resting under the ferns. Their eyes were sleepy, unaware of the goodbye. I'll never stop hearing the forest, she said. But I want to see what's beyond it now. They walked together toward the ship. She moved cautiously, her steps unsure. But the human stayed beside her, every step of the way. Inside the ship, everything felt sharp and bright. Metal walls, clean air, silent controls. It was nothing like the wild. She sat near a window. Her fingers touched the glass. The trees were getting smaller. The cubs had vanished behind the shadows. The ship rose into the sky, cutting through clouds, until the stars returned. Hartley sat beside her. You okay? She nodded. Just wondering if they'll look at me the way your people looked at the cubs. They'll look. But I'll be there too, he said. He leaned his head back and closed his eyes. For the first time in days, he felt warmth without fire. The crew didn't speak to them again until the docking was complete. The station was large, clean, cold. People stared from every direction. She kept her head high. Her eyes scanned everything. No fear showed on her face. Only strength. An officer approached. We're placing her in observation until clearance is reviewed. No, Hartley said. She's staying with me. That was the agreement. There are protocols, the officer replied. There's survival, Hartley said. And she earned that right. The officer looked uncertain, then nodded. Temporary housing then, shared quarters. Report in 12 hours. They were given a small room, 2 beds, 1 console. She walked in slowly and sat down. He sat across from her. It's not the jungle, no, but the air still moves, she said. They shared a simple meal. She ate with quiet care. He watched the way she examined every bite like it was a plant from the forest. You don't have to prove anything anymore, he said. I know, she replied. But I want to remember everything. Later that night, they stood near the observation window. Stars stretched out in every direction. She rested her head against his shoulder. Your world doesn't feel like mine. But you do, he smiled, and placed his hand over hers. And for the first time in both their lives, they didn't belong to a planet. They belonged to each other.